Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today, we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So, first and foremost, we are going to be talking about the dollar in this video. We do see, an individual down here saying, but yet the dollar remains strong. And this is a response due to this tweet from Gold Telegraph talking about there is $24 trillion worth of U.S. Treasury debt. The Bank of America recently said declining liquidity in the U.S. Treasuries market represents the biggest systemic risk to financial markets since the 2007 housing bubble. China has, sold 7 months in a row, ready for sanctions. And I do want to bring something up real quick with this. So, I believe that we are going to see this massive Black Swan event. It is going to be very similar to 2008. And what we are going to see from that is we are going to see central banks and these major government entities moving fast on a CBDC-backed monetary system. How will that work? How will that look? What is going to happen? Well, to me personally, we have seen a lot of these major names in this space talking about how central bank digital currencies could actually not only lower the risk of a systemic, crash like this due to liquidity, but it could also give a transparent image on what is happening behind the scenes with liquidity, with transactions. Everything, these central banks really kind of need to look at will be available because of CBDCs. We've talked about this quite a bit from Quant Network. Actually, they did do, a discussion on this. To me, these CBDCs will be issued out on DLT technology. They will most likely be backed by gold, silver, etc. And no, this is not the tokens themselves. This is not, going to be XRP backed by gold or anything, like that. No, the central bank digital currencies themselves will most likely be backed by gold and silver and, etc. And I think that this is all going to be tied to a multi-DLT world. That's what I personally am watching for right now. I do think that, the XRP, payment mechanism will also be ushered in around that time. And this is all going to lead to the rollout of that. And we also do see over here, the reason why I believe that we will see, XRP being focused on and Ripple being focused on as well. We do see here Iran is joining the Asian security body led by Russia and China. Huge news. For context, Russia, Iran, and Qatar account for just under 60% of the world's gas reserves. Yeah, we've been watching this unfold rapidly. The BRICS are ready. They are moving quick, and the U.S. is still dragging their feet, doing absolutely nothing. Just waiting and waiting and waiting, still attacking crypto. The technology that could ultimately save them from the U.S. dollar not only imploding, but also losing its dominance factor around the world. And also, talking more so about the BRICS, we do see over here breaking news. India's trade with Russia in rupees will soon start as top lender. State Bank of India has agreed to facilitate the new mechanism. Things continue to move quickly. We do see down here the trade in rupees could boost Indian exports to Russia to about $5 billion in the current financial year. The FIEO president said that would be up from the $3.3 billion last fiscal year. Again, pay attention to what the BRICS are doing here. They are moving very quick. And I honestly believe that the BRICS are, headed towards a point in time that we have never seen in the past, which is, not only adopting in crypto technology around payment systems and payment mechanisms, but also utilizing, cryptocurrencies for trade finance, for settlement. I mean, this is something very interesting. And we've even seen them announce that they will be adopting in cryptocurrency, payment systems and, cryptocurrency payment means within like a exchange, a medium of exchange. So we are focused on XRP here. We're focused on a lot of tokens that do have utility around this, specific use case. And XRP does always shine the brightest within these use cases simply because for the longest time, XRP has always been touted as the medium of exchange, and it is one of the best tokens to utilize within a payments means. Now, let's actually talk about the US dollar here because that is going to be the focus point. A lot of people think, the dollar is still remaining extremely strong during these times. Well, first off, the ECB, the European Central Bank, they've been focused on the dollar. They've been hoarding it due to, them kind of taking a hedge against a recession. I don't think that that is the safest bet. And, it is going to crash. It's going to be a bubble that bursts like this is probably going to be one of the largest bubble bursts that we've ever seen since going back to 2008. I think that this is going to overshadow 2008 in my opinion. Do we know when it's going to happen? Not exactly, but I have been watching the dollar, and more so I've been looking at the macro fib levels for the dollar. We go all the way back to 2001 when we topped out at around like 100, or I should say $1.20 more so, not 120, but we topped around there, and right now, you know, we started to trade on the 618 here at a $1.01 technically, and we hit this little bit of a wall, and this wall was 110. Now, are we going to stop there? Is that going to be our last, main resistance zone before we start to collapse? Here you have the dollar on the weekly, obviously hitting some resistance up there. It's still trying to fight. It gains some momentum on the 10 weekly EMA, that yellow line there at 100 and almost 8, and it's been trading between these for a while. Now I would say this, okay, losing that EMA would be pretty significant because we have not lost that EMA. We've traded a little bit below it, since going back to January, but ultimately we broke out of it going all the way back to May of 2021. That's when this rally really kind of started to go on the US dollar. And currently, yeah, we would have to break down below 100 and like almost 6, or $1.06, if you will, which is this last fib level down here. I could ultimately see us coming down, testing that, having a little bit of an impulse, coming down, testing it again, and most likely breaking down below it. That's what I'm watching for currently. I do think that the dollar is weakening, and I do think that a lot of these major announcements that we have been seeing from the BRICS nations are also going to play a huge role within the U.S. dollar weakening and starting to break down. But we still have that 120 or that $1.20 level going all the way back to 2001 that we could still test. And after that, I mean, things are going to start to break. Like, things have already kind of started to break economically, in regards to the monetary system. I think that things are going to get a lot worse very soon. And I do just want to say one last thing here. And this is mortgage rates top 6% for the first time since the 2008 financial crisis. Now we have slowing global growth, and governments around the world are scrambling to provide liquidity to companies so they don't collapse. Funny how things rhyme. And yes, when we really kind of look at this, listen, at the end of the day, a liquidity crisis is on, it's incoming. It's on the path right now. We are just waiting until we hit it. And I think that that is going to be the moment in time where everything breaks. I think that that's when the dollar breaks. I think that that's when a lot of these markets, financially start breaking. I think that crypto will do fairly well. I think that, a lot of individuals are going to scramble to crypto as a hedge, similar to what individuals did during the March of 2020 timeframe for the dollar. And if you guys don't remember that, so here is March of 2020. This is when the dollar went absolutely crazy. Crypto went down because everyone was kind of utilizing the dollar as a hedge. I think that we're going to see the opposite factor when that does happen. I think that a lot of individuals are going to utilize crypto as a hedge against this liquidity crisis, against this recession that is ultimately, inevitable. I think at this point it is inevitable that we, kind of avoid a recession. We are going to most likely see that happen around Q1 of 2023. That's what I'm personally seeing. And we really just have to wait and see. Nobody really knows for sure. But that is what I personally am watching for. But I also do want to mention one last major thing, and that is this. So everyone for the longest time in the Ethereum community, even Vitalik Buterin himself, right? He said, he talked down on XRP, and he basically ousted Ripple during the December of 2020 timeframe when that SEC lawsuit was first announced. And now we do see here, Ether's new staking model could draw SEC attention. SEC chair says system used by Ether following software update could trigger securities laws. We just hear it's time for the Ethereum, Ripple, and Library armies to join forces. This is from Library, the official Twitter account of Library. Guys, I'm just going to say it right now. Although I don't agree with the Ethereum community talking down on Ripple and XRP, I'm not going to get in a heated argument about it. I'm not going to talk down on Ethereum or anything like that. All I got to say is I don't wish this upon any token in the space. One, I think that the overregulation, overreach from the SEC and the ultimate attacking of crypto that we have been seeing from them for like over 2 years now has gotten out of hand. And this is not good at all. In fact, if we do see Ethereum being targeted, it is not going to be good for crypto. This is the number 2 asset in this market that is still holding a pretty decent, percentage over this market in regards to dominance. I think it's roughly like 19% or so. This is not a good look. This is not a good look for the SEC. It is not a good, announcement that we could really kind of, anticipate around crypto. I mean, hey, this is just a discussion on, hey, it could, possibly trigger the security laws sort of idea around this. But I'm not going to write anything off from the SEC. For the longest time, we thought, the SEC wasn't going to do much, and we've been wrong on that. In fact, they have gone after, multiple tokens. And the library case is one that we have been watching for closely. If you're looking at the XRP case, you should be looking at the library case because they are both very similar. And I do think that the library case could ultimately also give us some clarity around crypto. But we are still seeing a delay tactic. We're still seeing, feet being dragged. And I just thought that this was something interesting because, again, for the longest time, everyone thought that Ethereum had the free pass, but it looks like it doesn't. We have to wait and see what actually, unfolds from this. But I thought that this was pretty interesting to mention. And last but not least, I just want to mention this as well. Correction, testifying in front of the Senate Agriculture Committee, CFTC Chair Benham says his agency is getting ready to take on the role as the chief crypto regulator in the U.S. And this is pretty good. I mean, I would argue that this is probably one of the best announcements that we have seen about regulations within crypto. We've been talking about the CFTC for a while. I do think that them getting in on crypto in regards to like take on the role as a regulator within crypto is good. I think that this would ultimately allow for innovation to continue. They're not trying to stifle innovation at all. They're not trying to kill crypto or anything like that. Or at least from what I have read and from what I've seen. But I never really kind of take these agencies all that serious whenever I see discussions. I just think that regulations should be done in a collaborative manner within some of these major companies around crypto. We've talked about how Ripple does have a regulatory framework already in place. They did announce that back in, I want to say, November of 2021. If Ripple was working with CFTC or, maybe if the thing is that they tried to work with the SEC. Like, that's the biggest problem that I have. They tried to work with the SEC. They, met with the SEC on multiple occasions, and still we've seen many issues around that. So to me personally, like when we look at the CFTC and if we, see companies working within crypto with the CFTC, will we still see over-regulation? Will we still see, innovation being stifled? It's hard to say. And I really do, it's a big issue, but you can't really trust any of these agencies around crypto. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe to notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. It's been Nick. Peace out, guys.